Hello, welcome back to Firehouse Gaming. My name is Ben, and today we're going to continue on with Suzerain Rizia. So last time out, we signed a decree on tenant rights, and then basically just had a really long meeting about foreign relations. So, let's see here. I did check out the royal decrees. So this one here on a geological survey initiative. This feels like the right one to sign. But since our funds are a little bit limited, I decided I'm going to go ahead and wait till the end of the churn to enact it. Just in case anything else pops up that I need money for, because yeah, that'll pretty much wipe me out here. -2 authority, -2 budget. And I don't think it's going to make any difference until like the next churn anyway, so I think this is the one I'm going to go with, but I'm going to wait just in case I need the money for something else first. But that feels to me like the best way to go, because that should hopefully get us some extra, energy and budget per churn if we can, like, build a new oil field or whatever, All right. But let's see here. We got a couple reports, a couple newspaper articles, and something up here in the overview. So I'm going to go and start with that one. Let's see, so diplomacy situations. We have... green things are just ATA operations in Pales and Zeal. So that's just the soft power thing to try to help boost our image in the former territory that's going to be coming back to us here at some point soon, I think next year. And then Pales, who I definitely want to try to build a better cooperation with. Cool. So let's just go and do the reports, why not? So, first up from Folcha de Tor. Rifle production halted in Folcha de Tor after accident. A machine at the Folcha de Tor rifle plant has experienced a malfunction, stalling weapons production for the next week. The cause is being looked into, but the plant manager indicates that due to the ongoing labor shortage, fewer workers have been overseeing production of the plant, leading to more potential for human error. Interesting, okay. And from Port Trazon, Sorge delegation to visit Port Trazon. Gus President Alphonso will be arriving in Port Trazon on Monday. In lieu of the Vice President, he will be accompanied by his Development Minister Gus As this is Sorlin's first visit to Rizia in many years, a morning of diplomatic ceremonies at Palace Rizia has been planned, followed by talks in the afternoon and a banquet in the evening. Cool. And from Topes, excavation promises touristic and cultural renaissance. The recent uncovering of a vast resident city near Topes is poised to become a beacon of cultural tourism, with experts proposing it for designation as an Alliance of Nations heritage site. Anticipated to draw visitors globally, the site's potential excavation and restoration offers a glimpse into historical reawakening that could transform local heritage into a shared global legacy. The promise of enhanced cultural pride and economic influx through tourism is local authorities eager to initiate this landmark project. Cool. I mean, that's exactly what I was hoping for, so we'll see what happens there. Well, that was the last one, yeah. So, let's check our news articles here. So we have one from the Royal Herald and two from Geopolitico. So first up here is Rufus Gragg's Royal Gossip. Ball season begins. As palaces in Rizia begin throwing open their doors for glamorous fetes, there's one question on everyone's lips. Where is Princess Vina? Beautiful, well-mannered, and in the prime of her life, the young heiress should be a fixture at these events. It seems King Romus would rather keep his daughter by his side than show her off to the world, even going so far as to drag her along to his council meetings. How is she supposed to find the dashing husband she deserves if she never leaves the palace? The princess has the right to attend council meetings, of course, but it's also our right to see her in a poofy gown and speculate wildly about her love life. Free Vina, I say. That was a stupid article. Okay. Whatever. Alright. From Geopolitico, non-aligned movement in AN group grows. Man, I was questioning the grammar, but no, I'm like AN, it's the Alliance of Nations. Anyway, amid escalating tensions between the world's superpowers, a significant non-aligned movement within the Alliance of Nations is gaining traction. Discontented by the hostile actions from both blocs, this group, adopting strategies akin to Cairo, declares a balanced stance towards both superpowers and openly invites trade partnerships. This trend, reflective of a geopolitical strategy focusing on neutrality and economic pragmatism, signals a potential shift in the international arena. These nations, by choosing not to align with either superpower, are positioning themselves as pivotal players in global diplomacy, potentially influencing major decisions and maintaining their sovereignty in a polarized world. Interesting, okay. That's probably what I would prefer to do if I had the option. Alright, and let's see here. Confederacy of Vendonisam faces democratic forces. Okay. In the southeastern region of China, the Confederacy of Vendonisam, I have no idea how to say that, but that's alright, is grappling with a wave of democratic movements challenging its long-standing monarchic rule. Key states within the Confederacy, including the Sultanate of Ragkara, the Holy Isles of Penguvi, and the Duchy of Tamarin, are facing heightened instability. Suspicions arise that external forces from Markazi and United Kantana are backing these movements, further complicating the political landscape. The Confederate Council, led by Prince Consort Kabawan Song Tam, is actively countering this tide with increased mobilization of pro-monarchist troops and intensified intelligence operations. These measures are aimed at suppressing the growing democratic fervor that is leading to escalating conflicts across both urban and rurals of Vendonisam. Interesting, okay. Cool. Alright, well, with all of that, let's head to Port Trazon and see if we want to include Elena in trade talks. The Sordish delegation is expected to bring up the reopening of Sordish-Rizian trade relations during their upcoming visit. While Treasury Councillor Elena Werner would normally be present for such a discussion, Development Minister Gus Manger is requested to speak with the king alone. Alright, you know, I would like to have Elena with me, but if Gus wants to talk to me alone, I think I'm going to go ahead and honor his wishes. I don't know, Gus is kind of a shady dude. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. I'll have Elena stay behind. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and just listen to Gus for right now. Alright, let's see. That brings up another newspaper article here from Geopolitico. So, the Federation of Anraka bolsters trade ties with Ostioke and Nalapurna. The Federation of Anraka is bolstering its economic ties with the anarchist cantons of Ostioke and the Kingdom of Nalapurna, seeking to capitalize on its strategic location and abundant natural resources. This initiative is poised to bolster regional economic resilience and mutual prosperity that challenges the hegemony of traditional superpower-led trade blocs. Anraka's move to enhance these alliances heralds a new era of regional cooperation, potentially reshaping the economic contours of the continent and offering a fresh paradigm of interdependence in the global market. Cool. Alright. Well, I guess we're going to go get on a yacht, alright, to go meet with the Sordish trade delegation. I don't know if that's going to be Alonso and Gus, or just Gus, but I guess we'll find out. My royal yacht, the Rizania, smoothly cleaved through the waters of the Zapana River Delta. I stood on the deck next to Abel Alphonso, president of Sordland. There we go. After hours of diplomatic formalities in Palace Resna, the sea breeze felt amazing. Alfonso removed his jacket and looked up admiringly at the wide cable bridge that connected Port Trazon's two halves. Alright, let's see if I can do this guy's voice again. If not, well, whatever, it doesn't matter too much. What a great idea this boat tour was. It would have been a pity to spend our entire visit trapped in a stuffy old palace. He rushed to correct himself. A beautiful, elegant old palace, Your Majesty. The ship's horn let out a blast as we passed beneath the bridge. Let's go to the old town, why not? I led the Sorge president to the southern side of the deck for a better view of the old town. The late afternoon sun perfectly illuminated the spire of the Zilba Art Sanctuary. Terrific the way you preserve these historic buildings, but sometimes the past can be a trap. I'm happy your country finally has a president who understands that. I owe a lot to Colonel Sol, but it's high time Solon moved on. The Colonel was no great fan of monarchies, as you'll recall. Me, I'm more flexible. For such an anti-monarchist, he behaved an awful lot like a king. By the end, maybe. I wish we'd parted ways on better terms. I know one man who's happy for a clean break, though. Gus emerged from the ship's cabin, clutching a bottle and grinning triumphantly. Evil, they have it. I tried Con 12 exactly once from a Rizian chef in Holzor who smuggled it over in his steamer trunk. I haven't stopped thinking about it ever since. He turned to me apologetically. Our mutual friend Estella mentioned your yacht had an excellent wine cellar, and, well, I couldn't help myself. Let's be nice to Gus. Man of exquisite taste, I like you already. A toast to exquisite taste, then. Butler? Pabel smoothly appeared from behind us with 3 glasses. Gus handed him the bottle. Excellent choice, Mr. Manger. Please allow me. He filled the glasses and handed one to each of us. This should taste of cherry and black pepper with a faint hint of leather. We raised our glasses. To new beginnings. And new prosperity. And new friends. We drank. Gus sighed with pleasure, pure pleasure. Alphonso's expression bordered on disbelief. All apologies to Gellert of Ripley, but this is in fact the best wine I've ever tasted. I told you, I know certain storage movers and shakers who kill have access to beverage of this caliber. Which brings me to the deal I suggested. Ah, yes, the free trade of Rizian wine for storage whiskey. As good a way as any to get our relations flowing again, if you'll pardon the pun. Well, that can't be the only reason you've traveled all this way. Call it an aperitif. Alphonso opened his attaché and pulled out a bottle of early maroon 30-year-old. Aren't you to be connoisseurs, Your Majesty? Butler, 3 tumblers, no ice. Pabel approached with 3 glasses. I hope this is as good as you say. It's even better. Pabel poured us each a small amount of the amber-colored liquid. I'll do the toast this time. How do people say it's? Aproso? We drank. The flavor rushed over my tongue. Wood smoke and forest moss tapering off to sweet, silky smooth finish. It's heavenly. Like tasting the very soul of Erlery itself. Since your treasury crone is here to put a damper on proceedings, should we get straight to it? Yes, let's. Alphonso reopened his briefcase and took out some paperwork. It's all boilerplate, really. The governments of Rizia and Soldan, recognizing the importance of promoting economic growth and cooperation and desiring to enhance their mutual interests, conducted in a manner that is consistent with their respective domestic laws and regulations. Let's just keep listening. He went on. The parties shall agree to cooperate in the development and implementation of sanitary measures. He went on. Elimination of tariffs to be completed within 6 months from the entry into force. And we're just going to keep listening because I don't know what this deal is. Ensuring that respective customs procedures and other trade-related measures are transparent, efficient, and predictable. He went on. In equal amounts of 100 tons of wine and 50 barrels of whiskey per year, subject to availability. Wait. Yes? Equal amounts? Demand for Rizian wine in Sorlin is far higher than for storage whiskey in Rizia. Good catch. We can change that section if you like. Quantity subject to market demand. Demand in Rizia will skyrocket once earlier maroon hits the market. Trust me. So, is it a trade, Your Majesty? Yeah, why not? Yeah, sure. Now can we get to the real reason why you're here? Excellent, Your Majesty, and yes, there is one more proposal we wanted to discuss. The yacht lingered at the mouth of the Zapana Delta as the sun lowered in the sky, turning the water from turquoise to gold. As much as Solden's most valued citizens would appreciate your wine, we believe there's something else they'd find even more stunning. He gestured at his surroundings, then down at the short-sleeved shirt he was wearing. Have you thought about Rizia's on-tap tourism potential, Your Majesty? Yes, actually, I have. Oh, there we go. Yes, many times. Our beaches, but Lesbia is a shame after all. They're true diamonds in the rough. I know that for a long time, international tourists stayed away from the Valkyrie's coast because of the delicate situation with Pales. He pronounced the last word as Pales. Wait, is it... what? Palais, maybe? I have no idea if that's not how you're supposed to pronounce it. Sometimes I really wish there was pronunciation guides, especially if you're going to make fun of it. Oh, alright. Well, there we go. It is Palais. Alright. Well, whatever. I'm not going to correct it because I've been saying it the same way. I refrain from speaking up. My point is that it might finally be time to bring your undeveloped shores to life. I took the liberty of hiring a designer to draw this up. He reached inside his jacket pocket and pulled out a sheet of paper with a sketch on it. I recognized the beach it depicted as a picturesque stretch of sand and monkeys, not far from the palace where I'd grown up. Right on the coastline, the designer had placed a sprawling complex with a swimming pool and tennis courts. On it was a sign, Caronte Resort Volunteeris. Interesting. Let's go with that. Would that be the senior or the junior Caronte? You've done your research, I see. This is Marcel's initiative, along with certain other members of the Lothar group. Partners are considering significant investments along the Valkyrie's coast. If all went well, the Caronte Resort would only be the first step. Alphonso swirled the last drops of whiskey round in his glass. I'm aware of how your nobles see social oligarchs. I'm also aware that their world-renowned riches have diminished with each successive generation. Change is not merely inevitable, Your Majesty. It's the only way to preserve the lifestyle to which you're all so accustomed. Your grandmother understood that. I'm gonna go with that. Well said, Mr. President. My relatives could easily get shocked to the system. So, that's a yes on the proposal? I'm gonna go with this one. Yes, as long as the final design is less gaudy. I'll pass that on to our partners. Alphonso rubbed his hands together. In less than an hour, we've accomplished more for our countries than our predecessors managed in 30 years. I'd say that calls for celebration. Butler, another bottle. His name is Pabel Adria. Show some respects. I stand corrected. Mr. Adria, if you'd be so kind. Pabel reappeared, another bottle in his hands. He shot me a grateful look as he filled our glasses. The yacht began to turn back towards Port Trezon as the sun disappeared over the horizon. Nice. Alright. I mean, maybe I should have brought the old lady along. What's her name? Elena? But that's alright. I mean, I'm happy enough with that. We'll see how it goes. I mean, yeah, like, this is obviously just a blind playthrough. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm going to take the risk on it. Alright, let's see here. So we got at least a couple of reports here, some newspaper articles, another overview thingy. So let's just start with the reports. Why not? Alright, let's see. We got 3 of them here. So, from Terrador. Azara is rebuked for conducting military exercise close to Terrador border. The governor of Terrador has issued a stern rebuke to the Azaros of Cardis Monteclar after the provincial military conducted exercises near the Pale's Administrative District. Labeling the drills as unnecessarily provocative, the governor called for restraint and dialogue to address any interprovincial tensions. The statement emphasized the importance of peaceful coexistence and cooperation within the Kingdom of Rizia. I will agree with that, and I have to remember it's Palais, not Pales. And from Montclair, Alka Springs Leisure Club closed amid homosexual revelations. Police in Montclair conducted a raid of the so-called health retreat Alka Springs Leisure Club following a tip-off that the bathing facility was in fact a gathering place for the local homosexual community. During their unscheduled visit, several same-sex couples were indeed found to be engaging in illegal activity. They were promptly arrested and the leisure club shut down. Oh, that's messed up. Have to see what we can do about that. And from Monkeys port reports ship logjam. Nearly 30 container ships were caught in a logjam by the port of Monkeys yesterday, many of them transporting goods to Rumberg's Port Grim. Officials say this highlights the need to upgrade the facilities for faster docking and processing. Yeah, I was thinking about upgrading that because it seems like it'd bring in a bunch of extra money, but we don't have a whole lot of money at the moment, so that'll probably have to wait a little bit. Alright, let's check the overview here. Let's see, situations. Just an orange one, the Swordland, Heart of Swordland Resort deal. Yeah, I'm definitely hoping that's a good move, but I guess we'll find out. And yeah, policies, just trade deal with Swordland. Coolio. Alright, we got 3 news articles. So, we got one from the Royal Herald here. Rizia signs a pair of historic deals with Swordland. Swordland's first official diplomatic visit to Rizia in over 30 years proved a smashing success. President Alphonso and his development minister Gus flew back home as friends of the king, having cemented a pair of historic deals between the two countries. Freshly freed from the tyranny of Colonel Tarquin's soul, Swordland has been eager to restore the trade relationship it enjoyed with Rizia under the reign of King Egmond. A new free trade agreement will bring delicious Swordfish whiskey to our shores, while making Consuavo easier for grateful Swords to access. Meanwhile, the province of volunteers can expect more Swordfish visitors, as a resort operated by businessman Marcel Cronti is slated for construction on the Monkeys Coast. Cool. And then we got 2 here from Geopolitico. Non-interventionism gains momentum in Arcasia under Devereux. Charles Devereux of the Reformist Union Party is emerging as a potent force in Arcasian politics, challenging President Dwight Walker's vision of Arcasian capitalism. Advocating for reduced military interventions and favoring detente with the United Cantona, Devereux's approach marks a stark departure from Walker's politics. His call for rapprochement signifies a potential shift in Arcasia's foreign policy, resonating with a segment of the populace dissatisfied with the current aggressive stance. This movement underscores a growing divide in Arcasian political thought, reflecting the nation's struggle to balance its superpower status with evolving global rivalry tensions. And Swordland and Rizia re-establish ties. Sources have indicated a thaw in Rizian Swordfish relations, as a diplomatic visit to the kingdom by new Swordfish President Alphonso is said to have ended in a deal being inked between the two nations. This marks a turning point both for Swordland, which maintained few relationships with its neighbors under the rule of Colonel Sol, and for Rizia, which in recent years has been trading exclusively with Thornburg. How Queen Beatrice will react to her ally shaking hands with the kingdom's historical enemy remains to be seen. Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Well, that's alright. Let's see here. So, we can go to Port Trezon here to decide if we want to commission Taurus family statues. Interesting. There's been a proposition to erect statues across the nation in honor of the grand legacy of House Taurus. The choices are varied, one that honors King Valero, another showcasing the late king alongside his son Romus, or a grand portrayal of the entire recent Taurus lineage. That's a toughie. We don't really... I don't think we really need the statues, honestly. I don't know, it feels a little vain. I'm just going to go with no need for statues. Cool. Alright. So then, I guess we head over to Monkeys for a conversation with Vina. It was low tide. The waves of the Andalusian Sea lapped at the sands below the cliffs of Monkeys. A trail was carved into the cliffside just wide enough for a single horse. Vina picked up speed as she guided her mare Lizzie around a sharp curve. faster. Remember what I taught you. She glanced back at me with a grin and gave the horse a swift kick in the side with her spurred boot. Meet you at the beach. I watched her fly down the trail. She'd thrown herself into horseback riding after Lena died. We kept a few horses and Portrazon as well, but Lizzie was her favorite. I followed her at a leisurely pace, taking time to gaze back up the hill at Palais Monquise. With Hubertus' horse governing the province from his own estate, I was free to visit my old home and its private beach anytime I liked. At the bottom of the trail was a sheltered cove where Pabel had laid out a picnic lunch. I dismounted and sat down next to Vina. You really didn't have to come back to Monquise with me, Father. I wanted to. Council meetings don't exactly count as quality time together. Deciding the fate of the country together? That screams quality time to me. Keep up that enthusiasm. It'll serve you well when you're older. She picked up a lobster salad sandwich from the picnic basket and nibbled at it. Solemn silence descended as we stared out at the waves. 8 years since she died. When I'm here, it might as well have been yesterday. You almost died too that day, you know. Sometimes I wish I had. I can't even dip my toe in the water. It'll all come rushing back. I looked out at the sea again. The memories rushed over me. The sickening sound the boat had made as its girder splintered, calling out for my wife over and over, till my voice finally gave out. The beep of the hospital machines as I told Vina to say goodbye to her mother one last time. Was there anything I could have done to save her? In another timeline, were there 3 of us sitting on this beach instead of 2? Tears formed at the corners of my eyes. It's fine. I started sobbing. Vina appeared at a loss for words. She tentatively put a hand on my shoulder. I'm sorry, Father. I didn't realize it was still so fresh for you as well. Grief is a straight line, my daughter. It ebbs and flows like the tide. It's always high tide for me, and I'm not sure I even want to come up for air. She wiped her eyes. But you must be feeling the same way about Mother, otherwise you would have remarried by now. 8 years and not so much as a date. It feels useless to try. I'll never love anyone as much as I loved your mother. Vina looked unconvinced. But if you were to meet someone, what if you had a son? Who'd be your successor when he died? I'd still declare you next in line. Rizia needs a queen like you, and the rules were meant to be broken. She smiled. Like Queen Liza said, the eldest sibling should inherit the throne no matter their sex. Thank you, Father. It means a lot to know my preparation won't be for nothing. The tide was beginning to lap at the edge of our blanket, and we stood up and pulled it away from the water. Father, one more thing. What? It's just... Grandmother is always on about how I need to find the right husband. How important is it to you, really, whom I marry? Don't listen to that hypocrite. Grandma followed her heart, and so should you. So you won't try to marry me off, like your father did to you? I might suggest a potential husband or two, but I'll never drag you to the altar. She looked relieved. I'm interested in hearing these suggestions. She hopped astride Lizzie. Sorry to run, but one of the countesses from my school days has invited me for tea. She's just a few estates down the beach from here. Have fun. I'm glad we were able to talk. So am I. She rode away. The trip back up to the palace felt a lot longer than the way down. It was dusk by the time I'd returned my horse to the stables. I staggered through the doorway of Palais Monkey, exhausted. Pabel swiftly took my coat. "Welcome back, Your Majesty. Where's the princess?" "She's visiting with a friend, but she wanted to thank you for lunch." "Monkey's lobster. It's never so sweet as when it's fresh out of the water. There's a warm bath waiting for you upstairs in case you saw from the ride." "You read my mind, Pabel. All part of the job." I made my way to Palais Monkey's master bathroom, where an enormous clawfoot tub was filled to the brim with soapy eucalyptus-scented water. I undressed and got in. Why do I need to pick what I'm scrubbing? Good lord. I scrubbed my right arm. The temperature is perfect. A tap came at the door, so soft I thought I was imagining it first. "Your Majesty?" "Yes?" "May I come in? I forgot to leave you a towel." "Yeah, alright, come in." The door slowly opened and Pabel entered, a fluffy towel in his arms. He hung it on a hook on the wall. I noticed an identical towel on the hook next to it. Is there another reason you want to come in?" He took a step closer to the tub, conscientiously keeping his eyes on the wall. "Actually, there was something I wanted to bring up, without any guards around." "Why, don't you trust the Golden Guard?" "I don't know whom I can trust, to be honest." There's a small stool next to the tub. He moved over to it and sat with his back to me. "No need for modesty." "Oh, pardon me." Pabel turned around, still taking care to look only at my face. He spoke the next words slowly. "Your Majesty, how much have you been told about your father's death?" "Not a lot. Do you suspect something?" "Well, this is what I know. Back when my dad was still alive, he showed me every single plant in the Palais Resna gardens. One of them was mandragora, big green leaves, pretty purple flowers. He told me you can make an extract from its roots. A little bit helps you sleep. More than that causes delirium, and a lot stops your heart." I think I see where this is going. "I know it seems preposterous, but when I attended to your father on his sickbed, he didn't seem like a man suffering from heart failure. He was in a complete daze, as if he didn't even recognize me. After he died, I went out to the part of the garden where my father planted the mandragora. Nothing but a smooth patch of dirt. When was the last time you saw the plants?" "A few months before that, maybe. I remember the flowers blooming." "So, yes, it's possible the disappearance had nothing to do with the king's death." "Who was around the palace that night?" The Queen Mother, obviously, Grand Wiseman Ignatius, Titus and his men. Licito Azaro was also in town, meeting with your uncle to discuss the interim security council position. So, quite the list, not including me, of course." "Could someone have slipped it in his supper?" Pabel grimaced. "I was tasting all of His Majesty's food at that time, so whoever it was would have had to be very creative." "Well, if he was poisoned, the coroner would have caught it." "Mandragora is a naturally occurring substance. It may not have raised a flag." I'm just going to go and humor him. So nothing else. I don't think he'd be bringing this up if he wasn't legitimately concerned. Alright, well, let's say father was indeed poisoned. What would be the motivation? We both know His Majesty had a long list of enemies. But the goal could simply have been to put you on the throne. Or I'm next. No matter what, I would urge you to look out for yourself. There were only a few people King Valero trusted by the end. If my suspicions are correct, it means one of them took advantage of that trust. And all of those people are still in your inner circle today. I see. I'm going to have to look into this further. Pabel nodded. What do you think I should do next? I wish I knew. Try to find out as much as you can without raising suspicion, I guess. I'll keep an ear out myself. Palace gossip gets around. Trust me, old friend, I'll always have your back. Just go with that. Bimare Volu. Oxit Solu. He finished the phrase with a gentle smile, then rose from his seat. I'll take my leave before your water gets cold. Pabel? Romus? I'm happy there's one member of my inner circle I can trust. He bowed his head in gratitude and quickly exited, leaving me to finish my bath. After a thorough soak, I dressed and headed to my study. I still had some work to go over before the trip back. Nice. Alright. Well, I got a whole bunch of things that popped up here, but, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's as good a place as any to go and call for today. So, thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all next time.